Hi, this is Beth Donahue, and I just wanted to go through a little bit about Google Classroom and the different views it has. And this is designed for teachers as well as parents, because I want everyone to be clear about what you can see depending upon what your role is and how it's different from what the student sees. So we're just going to go through the different roles, and I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like, and hopefully this will help provide some clarity. So this is what Google Classroom looks like when a student will first enter it. And usually we call this the waffle. So if they click on this, students would access Google Classroom this way. Sometimes they have it bookmarked on their toolbar, so it just depends, but all of the common apps that are used are right here in that waffle. So this is not a real account, this is a testing account. So we have a 7th grade teacher in here, we have an 8th grade teacher in here, and then my 8th grade computer science. So there's a mixture of classes on this, but the students would see all of their classes that they're currently enrolled in. And if they click on the link, then they're going to go into their classroom, and it's going to put on the side sort of what's upcoming for them so they know what is due. And then this stream where they first come is just literally a long list of everything that the teacher posts. So it's just, and it goes in date order. So usually I like my kids to work from the classwork page because I've organized it by topics and I think it's easier for them. And so this has a few different projects on it. And one of them I'm just going to show you is this. I've asked them a question. So does your companion work? And so I'm going to click on the view question, and we're using App Inventor in my class right now. And so the AI companion is from MIT's App Inventor. And so I want to know if they're having trouble working it or not. So this is what the kids would see. And then this is where they would type their answer to me. And so you can see what it looks like from my end as a teacher. I've asked them all this question. I have words on here, I have some videos on here, and I can send a comment to the entire class. And then I can go over here and click on the student answers. I'm not going to do that, but I could do that. And then for the kids, I'm going back, they can add a class comment in my class. Each teacher sort of can decide whether or not. Sometimes I like to keep it on in case they just ask a question. Sometimes the kids are on when I'm not on, and so they can get a more immediate answer. But they can also send me a private comment, and then I would respond to them. So that's sort of how the student end works. And then they could click back here to go back into my class, and they could go back to the classwork. So this is another thing. I'm going to show you a different one. This is a different type of an assignment. This is an assignment. So this has a due date on it. You can see that there's a due date, and it works the same way. So it has the title, it has the information that I've posted, any attachments that I've given, and then right here again is where they put in their work. So when they click on that add or create, they can attach things that are in their Google Drive. They can attach a link to something that's outside. So a lot of times kids will work in outside programs, and oftentimes there's a link that they can add. So that's that one. And then a file, if they're uploading a file, let's say they have taken a photograph or something and they're using their phone, then they can do a file upload if they haven't added it already to their Google Drive. And so the kids are pretty used to using this. And so it works pretty smoothly for them. So now, what about parents? So we know what teachers see. We know what kids see. What about the parents? Well, the parents get a little bit less information. So first, let me show you. I'm going to go back here. If you want to be added as a parent, the teacher needs to add you in. So they can give you information to add in. Now, there's a classroom code as a student. So if I was a teacher, if I go back to this main page here, this code right here is the code that the kids would use to add into my class. So I can add kids in that way. The code does not work as a parent. You have to have a sandwich email. You have to be part of the school's domain in order to be able to go in as a student. So that doesn't work. But what I can do as a teacher is I can invite you in the people section. So I can say, okay, this is the parent's email address. Please send them an email. And you can put multiple emails in. So if there's 2 parents from 2 different houses, not a problem. They can both go in. If you want a grandparent to be on too, great. We can put multiple in. So don't worry about that. So this is what it looks like. You're going to get things from no reply at classroom.google.com. So the first thing that you would get is this, and it's going to say the teacher, whatever the teacher's name is, invited you as a guardian in Google Classroom. And so you'll get a weekly summary. The STEM, it's called STEM student, so STEM is the first name. So it would say whatever your child's name is, progresses with missing. So it would say their first name. And so you have to accept it. And then you have to say how often you want the emails. So I have requested daily summaries, but you could also get weekly summaries. Obviously, daily summaries would help in terms of catching things before they get too far off track, if you have a child that needs a little bit of reminding. So this is what an email would look like. So this one, it came through 4 hours ago. It comes through after the school day, and it comes through every weekday. So it gives the date on it. So today's the 31st, and it says, oh boy, missing from last week. So STEM student did not do this, and this is the assignment that they missed. And then it says due in the next few days. So there's these other assignments that are almost due. And this is the example one that I was showing you earlier. So notice that this has the main question that we saw on the other screen in both the teacher view and in the student view. And it has the description. So it has those words that I wrote, but notice it does not have the attachments. So all of those attachments that I offer to the student. So in this one, there's just an image, but on some of them, sometimes I have videos. So it can be, there can be multiple types of attachments. So for example, for create your own app, if you this assignment, I have all of these attachments. None of these get sent to the parents. So you might be saying, well, what's good being added? Like, what's the benefit? Well, I think that it's a really good conversation piece because you're going to have the information to ask your kids questions and to have that conversation like, oh, why is your teacher asking if it works? Was that something that was hard? Maybe, you know, what did you do for your app? And you can ask them those types of questions. Some kids are going to need a little more hands-on, and that's fine. So the other thing that you can look at is in this classwork page. So what I would suggest is you sit with your kids, say like, hey, can I see your Google Classroom? Let's see what's going on. I just want to help you. Maybe it's just an organizational thing, problem that your kid is having. So show them this. You know, they could click to view their work, and it's going to list every single thing. It's going to give the dates if there was a due date, if it was just assigned, when it's missing. Once it goes past the date, it's gonna say missing. This one just says assigned because there's no due date. So if there's no due date, it's just gonna say assigned. And then if there is a due date and they haven't done it, it's gonna say missing. And this one, if, you know, I've collected this item, and so we see the little check mark here. So that's something that I think can be very helpful. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you another thing that I think is helpful is the Google Calendar. So if you click on that, and you can actually get here in a different way. You can get to the Google Calendar by clicking on the waffle and going to Calendar. And once you're here, you can sort of see assignments as well. So we were looking at the assignment that was the question. So you can see down here, it's in blue. And if I can click on it, then I can see all that information, and it links me right back to my Google Classroom page. And so all of the due dates, anything that has a due date, is in the kids' Google Calendar as well. So that's a couple different ways that you can see the work. So I hope that this helps clarify a little bit about the different views and what you can see depending upon your role. If you have questions, please reach out. I am happy to help anyone. If you don't know my contact information, you can reach out to a teacher and they will give it to me. Thank you.